Today we're looking at Magic the Gathering cards that catch people by surprise, completely off guard, cards that make your opponent go, and you got them cards. All right, I'm gonna start off with Kasali Ambusher. It is a white-green 1 cat warrior with reach. It's a 2/3 creature, which is pretty relevant versus a lot of 2 power creatures and 2 toughness creatures. If a creature is attacking you, and you control a forest and a plains, so that means you could be tapped out, and your temple garden is tapped, and hey, look, you can attack me, everything is free. No, it's not. You may play Kasali Ambusher without paying its mana cost, and as though it had flash. Well, I mean, oh yeah, it doesn't actually naturally have flash. It has reach, so you can actually block flyers. For some reason thought you would get in there with that Birds of Paradise. No. Gonna get him with the Kasali Ambusher. And when you get got once, you'll never get... I don't know if you won't get got again, but you'll be prepared. Alright, next one up. A card that I still get got by. Even today. Because I'm playing a lot of Legacy. This is a pretty staple card of that format. Dryad Arbor. It's a land creature. It's a 1/1. And, you know, in the past, you could mingle it with your, like, forests and whatever. You know, which is the one that looks like a forest? Yeah, this one, the From the Vault version. You can just mingle it with your forests and maybe get them, and then, surprise, it's in my mana base. That's illegal now. You can't do that. But you could still just legally get people by just having fetch lands out, because it is still a forest. You see that? So you can crack a Windswept Heath. So I get in there with my, like, 2/1 creature. They crack their fetch land, and I already know what's happening. It's over. I couldn't predict it, though, at the time. And like, if they play Misty Rainforest, they could be anything. They could be any deck. They could be a Delver deck or something. And then the Dryad Arbor comes out and chumps my damn 2/1 creature, and I'm screwed. I hate this card. Absolutely hate this card. All right, what else do we've got here? Gustavo says the illusory... I want to say this is illusion. Illusory Ambusher. There's a family of ambushers? The family of ambushers. Okay, we got a blue 4 generic 4/1 cat illusion with flash. Whenever I guess it's illusory ambusher is dealt damage, draw that many cards. Wild. So you probably flash it in play, block, kill their creature, and then draw a boatload of cards. Normally, you'd spend 5 mana to draw that many cards. You're taking them down with you. They both go down with the ship, sinking at once. TJPH, say all the ninjutsu cards. Well, that's fine, but you gotta name me a card. There's a lot of ninjutsu cards. Would Gemstone Caverns count? You know what? I would put that in there. Gemstone Caverns. It's literally a turn 0 land if you play second. What could be more shocking? Especially if it's from a combo deck. You know, you think you're on the play. You got everything planned out. You got like 3 turns until they start comboing off. And then they start playing Gemstone Caverns. And now you feel your heart sink. And you realize, oh my god, they could go off on turn 2 instead of turn 3. They're on the play, you're on the draw, and you're a sinking ship. Yeah, Gemstone Caverns has got me many times. And you can't even interact with this thing. I mean, maybe in Legacy, when you have, like, Wasteland. Is this a commander staple? I imagine this is a pretty good commander card, too. Why not have Gemstone Caverns in your deck? Geyer! Thank you very much, Geyer, for the super chat. Manatithe! Okay, that's probably, like, the poster boy of all Gotham cards. The people play this card for the Gotham. Okay, so 1 white instant. It's just white force spike, but no one sees it coming. Why you expect counter spells out of the white deck? Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. And you feel so bad when it happens. It's probably pretty free to have 1 of these cards in your deck, just 1. For that 1 moment, they tap out, and then your opponent will, like, play around it for, like, the rest of eternity. Because they'll think, oh, they must have 4 mana ties. Well, I'll get their mana ties by constantly playing around this card. But really, you only had 1 in your deck, and then you got them twice. They overplayed around a card that barely is even in your deck. And if it's Commander, well, they knew that you had 1 card, but what are they going to do anyway? Abe with the super chat. Morning, my favorite gotcha card, Simeon Spirit Guide. Paying for counter spells in Legacy. You mean like days? Okay, Simian Spirit Guide. This card has very similar utility like Gemstone Caverns in that combo decks will just combo off one turn faster than you would expect. You know, you're looking at their mana base and I was like, oh, there you got another turn. No, you don't have another turn. But I've been in the same situation where I like crack Curse Catcher to counter an instant or sorcery, and then they're like Simian Spirit Guide. I saw your mana in front of me. You didn't have that much mana. See, you had Simian Spirit Guide, and this happens all the time versus the initiative decks. They take the initiative and they try to counterspell the damn thing, and they Simian Spirit Guide and pay for it. Yeah. Where's the music? Oh no! Where is the music? Exactly. Where's everything? What's going on here? All right, we got music. Darn. I love my music. I hate when I miss it. All right, what do you got? Yeah, you guys got to remind me if there's no music. If there's no music, then there is a problem. Leyline of Sanctity against burn decks. I don't know if it's that. You know what? It depends. It actually depends. It depends. You know, they can't Leyline of Sanctity. Because they can't expect this card versus every single deck out there. But every single deck can potentially play this card. White, 2 generic. If Leyline is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. You have hexproof. So if you're up against like a Gruul deck, Gruul or like Simic or Rakdos, you're not really expecting the Leyline of Sanctity come in from the sideboard because they can't cast this card. But if they are so vulnerable to, you know, burn-like decks or any deck that targets them, yeah, they might want to take that chance with the Leyline of Sanctity. You could say the same about Leyline of the Void. Sometimes when graveyard decks are so outrageously powerful, even if you have no black in your deck, you're an Azorius deck, you're mono white, you're mono blue, you're red blue, you might still have Leyline of the Void in your deck because it is the single best graveyard hate card probably in the game. If it's in your opening hand, put a Stray on the battlefield, and if a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So anyway, yeah, brutal card, absolutely just brutal. Another super chat coming from Stormwind. I remember the first time I played against a Tog. My opponent sacrificed their board. I had an answer, and then it got hit with the Fling. Fling in the Atog matchup. Oh, no, there's a lot of Flings out there. No, the Fling. Still angry to this day. That's how goddamn this card is. We got a red 1 generic. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. You thought the whole deck was about the creature. No, but instead they played the Fling. And it was all over. Fling deals damage equal to the sacrifice creature's power to any target. I know so many people, they just build their decks around Fling. Like, they just want to build a huge creature. Maybe get in an attack to deal half the damage. Fling to deal the rest of it. And you might even take that damage because, hey, you have life to spare. And then they fling the rest of it at you. Chancellor of the Dross. Yeah, if you're playing in the, oh, what's it called? In the freeform area where you're going to have 60 Chancellor of the Dross in the other deck. To be honest, this is not that surprising if you play in that format. Probably people play against this card all the time in that situation. All right, what do we got here? Danny. March of Swirling Mist. Do you know what? This card is not so it's like this card is so unpopular, I want to say, that it is a huge surprise when it gets played against people. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you can exile any number of blue cards in your hand to make it cost 2 mana less. It's a blue and an X. And up to X target creatures phase out. You could do this to manipulate the board state in any number of ways. To remove your opponent's blockers, to remove their attackers, to protect your creatures from removal spells, to protect your creatures from a board wipe. It's and you could pay, like, you can have a single blue mana up and protect everything because you can just pitch more blue cards from your hand in order to do what you need it to do. So it is definitely a huge Gotham card. Oh, this is a modern, this is a card that still gets people. It still gets people. It's the Ice Fang Quaddle. Yeah, the blue-green 1/1 snake flash flying. And it'll get more people if you don't reveal what your deck is, like what your mana base is. So if you have like fetch land, something else, and then they go like, go get a snow island, go get a snow forest, and they get another snow island. They flash in the quaddle block and go get their card. Yeah, flash flying, enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's got death touch as long as you control 3 other snow permanents, which is why you want to get in that attack. You go get in that damage before your opponent has 3 permanents in play. Even if there is a chance that they have Ice Fang Quaddle, just get in there. Don't be afraid. It doesn't count. It's a snow creature, but it doesn't count itself. What else do we got here from... we did Mana Tithe already. Furious Gamer with Rebuff the Wicked. What is Rebuff the Wicked? We got a white. Instant. Carry target spell that targets a permanent you control. I want to say, like, they're not going to be surprised that you had an answer to their card, but they're probably going to be surprised that this is what stopped it. How many of you have Rebuff the Wicked in your deck? I would bet almost nobody. Alright, what do we got? We got GWJ here with a super chat. Bioshift catches my friends by surprise as a combat trick with +1/+1 counters on Simic. Oh, does this manipulate the counters? With counter doubles or more, it gets out of control. So we got green-blue, a hybrid of green-blue. Simic. Instant, move any number of +1/+1 counters from target creature onto another target creature with the same controller. So if you have hardened scales, by moving it on, jumping the round, it gives them extra counters, correct? And then of course if you proliferate, you don't need to proliferate, right? With counter doubles, or you do anything that adds more counters as they start moving, it will be a huge blowout. Not seeing the bioshift coming. Move these counters from point A to point B. Wasteland Viper? All I know is this is the annoying card that always shows up in my search feed whenever I look up Wasteland as a card. Green 1/2 with Death Touch, Blood Rush. Oh god! So you can discard it from your hand, right? For a green. Target attacking creature gets +1/+2 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. You block my creature? Well, I'm gonna kill your creature because I got Death Touch. That's not much of a Gotham card, Toilet Duck. Come on, Swords to Plowshares. Everyone has Swords to Plowshares. Islarf! Defabricate is a unique counterspell that doubles as Stifle. Defabricate. We got a blue 1 generic instant. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. If a spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into the graveyard. And you can also Stifle. You got a little bit of... So you have basically a really versatile counterspell. Counters it counters everything except like creatures, like actual hard creatures. Oh, Commandeer! I almost started playing this in Legacy, then I found out it doesn't actually commandeer creatures, but it commandeers everything else. Blue 5 generic instant. Get this. Okay, you can remove 2 blue cards in your hand from the game rather than pay Commandeer's mana cost. That's how powerful this card is. They need you to pitch 2 cards in order to play it for free. Gain control of target non-creature spell. You may choose new targets for it. You get control of the non-creature spell with instant sorcery, planeswalker. Ideally, you're stealing planeswalkers with this, but if not, take control of someone's Cruel Ultimatum from a Blackbird. I can't really say this is... Is this a Gotham card because you don't expect people to play these cards anymore? Target opponent sacrifices a creature, discards 3 cards, loses 5 life. You return a creature card from the graveyard to your hand, draw 3 cards, and gain 5 life. What do you expect them to do for 7 mana? 7 mana! They gotta do something. Narset's Reversal, that's a big one. The Uno reverse card effectively for blue. A blue instant. Actually, it doesn't really reverse, does it? It just copies. Instant. Copy target instant or sorcery, and you can... Oh yeah, but then you return your opponent's card back to their hand, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Copy and switch it around. It's not you're commandeering their spell, effectively. Wild Ricochet on Time Warp. Oh god. Wild, hopefully this is good enough. Okay, Wild Ricochet, red 2 generic. I would say any of these redirect spells are a beating. There's a red one for free that gets me every single time. And my friend always has it in Commander. It's like he starts the game with it every time. Okay, red, 2 generic. You may choose new targets for target instant or sorcery spell. Then copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Any of these redirect cards are an incredible beating. You think you're gonna get your... You had a plan, and now the plan gets redirected somewhere else. You spent all that money for nothing. Deflecting Palm. Oh, yeah! Or you take that much infect damage. Okay, so white, red, instant. The next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. If damage is prevented this way, Deflecting Palm deals that much damage to that source's controller. So yeah, you attack for a ton, and you just redirect all the damage straight back to them. Now this is the Uno reverse card, I guess. This is the, but for a creature. And I have a feeling they don't see it coming, but then when they see it coming, they're like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, you could have had that. Sure. A lot of Burn players like to play this card. So it's less surprising when a Burn player does it. We got King Ginger with Deflecting Swat. That's the card. Deflecting Swat. This card gets me every time. Every single time I think I have like a really good, I don't know, interaction, my friend deflecting. So it's always like I'm trying to kill something, they just swat it at something else. Red 2 generic instant. If you control a commander, you may cast the spell without paying its mana cost. You may choose new targets for target spell or ability. Really, really annoying. Josh Karen. Inkjet. Sorry, not Inkjet. Ink Shield. We got the shield for a black-white 3 generic instant. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to you this turn for each 1 damage prevented this way. Create a 2/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. So this is actually a good fog. So someone attacks you for a lot, especially if if your board got swept. For each 1 damage, you get like basically double the power. And they have flying? And now the person who attacked you, their heart is sinking because they know exactly where all those 2/1 flyers are going to go. It's going to go directly at them. Do you know what Dress Down is a really good card? I can't say it's that surprising, but it still sucks when it comes out. You know what really surprises me? If I have a true name, if I have any card that does something as it enters the battlefield, Dress Down prevents that. See, Dress Down, let's read it. Blue 1 generic flash, enters the battlefield, draw a card. Creatures lose all abilities. Okay, that's fair game. At the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Dress Down. But the thing is, I figured it only affects cards that are in play, not cards that enter the battlefield. So a card like a clone just dies. So if you play like a... let's look at actual clone. This thing will just die. See, you may have... clone enter the battlefield as a copy. Let me look at Phantasmal Image. This is the card I actually... You may have Phantasmal Image enter the battlefield. Maybe I'm wrong here. As a copy of anything, blah blah. Maybe it's more specifically saying it enters the battlefield as this, and no, it doesn't have any abilities. Anyway, thought it was BS that it destroyed these cards. I was surprised. Okay, what do we have next? We have the Noob Master with Gerard's Hourglass Pendant. Gerard's? What do we have here? It's 1 mana. Okay, legendary, and it's flash. It's a flash 1 mana legendary artifact. If a player would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. So you time warp. It's like basically counterspell for time warp. And you pay 4, tap, exile Gerard's Hourglass Pendant, return to the battlefield tapped all artifact, creature, enchantment, and land cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. And it's an egg? It's basically second sunrise. Thank God it's not modern legal. It is legacy legal. I was like, why have I never seen this card before? And it's just a commander card. That would be surprising. In both ways, you lose your extra turn. Oh, by the way, I'm comboing off. Okay, Christopher B says Wilt Leaf. Why is this one considered a surprise? Wilt Leaf Leash. I'm pretty sure I know what this card is. Yeah, what is... If a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to... Oh, this part of it. If something makes you discard the Wiltleaf Leash, put it into the... put it into the graveyard. Sorry, put it onto the battlefield instead of putting it into your graveyard. So you make your opponent discard cards through Hymn to Turok or Thoughtseize. It's not Thoughtseize because you'd be really stupid to choose the Wiltleaf Leash. Sometimes there's no other options. Liliana the Veil. What else would make you discard cards these days? There's many, but I don't know any commander examples. Yeah, it just goes directly onto the battlefield and then you're doomed. Totally screwed. A lot of people are voting for Opposition Agent. Is this even a surprise these days? Your opponent's playing black. Okay, black, 2 generic, 3/2, human rogue, flash. You control your opponents while they're searching their libraries. While an opponent is searching their library, they exile each card they find. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast them. You may play, so you can actually steal their lands. So they look for a land, you stole their land, you can play their land. Wild card. All right, let's more super chats. More super chats. We got King Ginger's back with comeuppance. Comeuppance, a white 3 generic instant. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control this turn by sources you don't control. If damage from a creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that much damage to that creature. If damage from a non-creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that much damage to the source's controller. Okay, so you're preventing damage from a creature, you kill the creature. You're preventing damage directly from the player, send it straight back at him. They go right back at him. Cringe with the super chat. Seed time. I think it says CEDH play. It doesn't even need to... I don't care where it sees play. You can see play anywhere. Thanks for the time walk. Green 1 generic instant. Play seed time only during your turn. But take an extra turn after this one if an opponent played a blue spell this turn. Oh, you wanted to play that counter spell or that brainstorm mid-action? Well, thank you very much. You've activated my trap card. It's the seed time. It might be a glorified Explorer sometimes. Also might help me untap 10 mana and get an extra attack in. Larry says surprise party. An actual surprise card. How many surprise? It's not even a real card. White 2 generic enchantment. When surprise party enters the battlefield, yell surprise and put onto the battlefield any number of printed clown robot tokens that aren't touching each other. That you hid on the battlefield before you cast surprise party and that weren't spotted by an opponent before you cast surprise party. Robots you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance. Really strange, not restrictions, but I don't know, it's really weird. Weirdo card. Ooh, Fairy Mastermind. It's not the greatest blowout when it happens, but I'm not really thrilled when it does. Blue 1 generic, 2/1 Fairy Rogue with flash and flying. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. A blue 3 generic, each player draws a card. So you'll see the second ability when it comes, but when you try to draw an extra card for the turn, and they throw their Fairy Mastermind on the battlefield, it doesn't feel good. You know they're gonna get value. Always a bigger fish, a Broodaclad. Broodaclad. The Telecore Engineer. You have so many ways to change your clone army into something new every turn. Red, blue, 4 generic for a 4/4 Artificer. Creature tokens you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you choose a token you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. I don't know if that has surprise value, to be honest, because they can just see, well, that's the most powerful thing on the board, so you'll just choose it. Yeah, they see it coming a mile away because it's basically known information at that very moment. Oh, we got another super chat. We got Trevor Peebles. Plagiarism. It also it always comes as a surprise in the real world as well. Plagiarism. Draw your opponent's cards. Is it plagiarist? I don't think so. Plagiarism. Plagiarize. Blue 3 generic. What a weird card. It's got a big eyeball in his mouth. Instant. Until end of turn, if target player would draw a card, instead that player skips that draw and you draw a card. If target player would draw a card. So basically you can do this in response to, say, Wheel of Fortune. So they discard their hand and you draw everything. If target player would draw a card, instead that player skips that draw. Yeah, until end of turn. So this is like the this is the ultimate Gotham card in response to a Wheel of Fortune, a Time Twister, what's it called? Wind something. I don't know. I don't know these staples. I just pretend that I know them all. That's an amazing card. The surprise is when you look at your opponent's graveyard, you see the 5th lightning bolt. You know what? That actually happened to me sort of once in a tournament where someone had 5 Bridge from Belows in their graveyard. It was like a Manaless Dredge deck. They basically dredged their entire deck into their graveyard, and they put it there by accident. They like had several, I guess, Bridge from Below decks, and they forgot that. I don't know. They accidentally mix-mashed some cards. It's not like they weren't trying to cheat or anything. Because it's like the worst deck to try to cheat with, because it's like you put your whole deck face up into your graveyard. But yeah, that once happened, and they noticed it before. I didn't even know. Did I notice it? I don't remember who I think they noticed. It's like, oh my god, I have 5 Bridge from Belows in my graveyard. And it actually was really bad because that was their 61st card, and the fix was to put a land in their deck. Because that's, like, technically the rule. Or that's one of the rules. But then they found out, like... Anyway, they just let them play the tournament. I think they looked deeper in the rules. And they could go from 61 to 60 cards. Anyway, I don't know if that's the legal fix. But it made them happy. Okay, moving on. We got... Death! Very bold name. First time seeing live. Thanks for the content. I binned your videos for 2 months! Thank you so much, Death. Haven't played in too long to suggest a card. Take a free comment on me. All right, we'll take a free... This one's on Death. Pedgeman will get it. I remember playing with Gather Specimens against people playing Eldrazi, Emrakul, and other uncountable creatures. It was always a surprise for the opponent. Blue, 3 generic instant. If a creature would come into play under an opponent's control this turn, it comes into play under your control instead. Unfortunately, all the cast triggers on Eldrazi, they still get them. So if it's an Eldrazi that doesn't have like a great cast trigger, because I think most of them are cast triggers. What's a Ulamog? What's the OG Ulamog? When you cast the spell, you cast the spell, you get. So I wouldn't say it's the greatest thing to take. I mean, it's better than nothing. I would rather take an Ulamog than have the Ulamog be attacking me. So anyway, Gather Specimens. So it's like similar to, it's like Commandeer, but not for free and hits the creatures. All right, we also got Omeek. Omeek, thank you very much for the super chat. Etherize the Cell Wreckage. Oh my god, Etherize. Like, here's the thing with Etherize. I don't expect that card to be in your deck. I think this card is so bad. It's blue 3 generic instant. Return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. Now, Settle the Wreckage, I understand. Like, if my opponent is like... Settle the Wren. So if my opponent playing white has a lot of white mana up and like they clearly can play a lot of cards, but they don't, and they just keep holding up mana against my army, I can see the Settle the Wreckage a mile away. It's the Etherize I never see coming. It's like, why would you play this card? Sure, it bounces all the cards back to my hand, but I don't feel like it's strong enough. So I get got by Etherize all the time. Yeah, it's so bad it catches you off guard. Exactly. Anger. No one realizes the effect. It's online until it's too late. Really? This is the haste thing? As long as anger is in your graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control have haste. That can help combo off against people in some cases. And who's ever looking at the graveyard anyway? You could say, okay, Faithless Looting, put anger in the graveyard, go. And everyone's just talking about, their job or, sports. And there's no one's looking at your graveyard. And before you know it, you attack for the win out of nowhere. And they're like, hey, I didn't know those things had haste, so I told you on turn 1. You weren't paying attention. That's not my fault. That's your fault. Redco with Orcish Bowmasters. Oh, believe me, I don't think this is going to be a surprise. Why is this happening all the time? Well, the show's not over. What's going on here? I keep flip-flopping the stupid sound effects or the music. Okay, anyway, for the next week, this will be surprise value. After that, this will be just a staple and everyone will see it coming. They have black mana and they haven't tapped out. Orcish Bowmasters is in the cards. Black 1 generic 1/1 Orc Archer Flash. When it enters the battlefield, and whenever an opponent... See, when it enters the battlefield, and if an opponent draws an extra card except the first they draw each turn, Orcish Bowmasters deals 1 damage to any target, then amass Orcs 1. Make a big create, and the army gets bigger, too. That's wild. And shoots things down. I think what makes this card broken is that you get that ETB. You snipe off the 1 toughness creatures. 1 toughness creatures are dead, people. They gotta basically start building every creature with 2 toughness because 1 toughness, I don't know. Maybe that was a design mistake for the first 30 years of Magic. Everything should have had 2 toughness in the first place. Okay, we're gonna look at more surprise cards, but if you want to surprise your opponents, you gotta buy your cards at FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week, save 15% off all Magic promos. Play Survival of the Fittest. They'll never know what you go get because you could tutor for anything. And Force of Will, always maybe not really surprising people. Force of Will surprises people if you don't counter something because they always assume you have it. And you can support the channel by using coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off, an additional 5% off all your purchases. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. You want to trick your opponents? Well, go rent them tricky cards. And they do work at a competitive level, but they'll probably work once. But when they don't work anymore, you send them back and rent some new ones. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below. Or save yourself 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_1YA when you rent cards at Mana Traders to play them on Magic the Gathering Online. And now back to them. It's cards with them surprise value. Okay, what do we got now? I got more super chats. Surprise deployment. Surprise. It's got surprise in the name. But is it really surprising? White 3 generic. Instant. Play surprise deployment only during combat. Put a non-white creature card from your hand into play. At end of turn, return that creature to your hand. Only during... That's so weird. Does anyone play this? Does anyone know this card exists? You can't even play this for free. You literally have to pay. It's like instant speed show and tell, but you have to bring it back later. It's like you're renting a blocker for a turn. Bulky, Mystic Reflection. No one expects it and has... Mystic Reflection. How can we use this? Okay, blue 1 generic instant. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time 1 or more creatures or planeswalkers that enter the battlefield this turn, they can enter as copies of the chosen creature. Now, it does have Foretell, which is a surprise in itself, so you can have it turn it face down for 2 mana, then bring it back for a blue. Makes me think that all the morph cards have surprise value. Can't remember what's like the best thing to... I mean, anything that's a giant token generator works really well with Mystic Reflection. Because you make a bunch of tokens at one. So you Mystic Reflection a creature, make a bunch of tokens, they all turn into those things. This card is a Bourse in my Coma deck. What the hell does Bourse mean? Eye for an eye from Yo Little Ted. Okay, eye for an eye. White. Next time a source hero tries to deal damage to you this turn, instead that source deals that much damage to you, and eye for an eye deals that much damage to that source's controller. So you still take the damage, but you like slap back at your opponent. This doesn't prevent anything. I mean, I guess this might be interesting burn tech, or would it? I'm just trying to think, like, if a Boros burn deck would ever use this card. It's not modern legal, though. Why not? Like, alright, you deal damage to me. I deal damage to you! But you still have to spend a card to do it. Stormcrow. You'd just be surprised that playing Stormcrow. Okay, who's someone who hasn't got a carding? Cow the God! Scar. Oh no, I did look at it. Azzy! The Spanish Inquisition. We mean Inquisition of Kozilek, but in Spanish? I don't think there's an actual card. French, Deutsch. Where's the Spanish one? Is it this? No, that's French. Where's the literal Spanish Inquisition? Maybe this one. No, that one also looks French. Okay, well, I don't know what Spanish looks like. I don't speak Spanish. I can't even count to 10 in Spanish. Yeah, I know, it's a meme. No one, oh yeah, oh I see. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. But I know there's a joke with like the Spanish version of Inquisition of Kozilek because no one sees the, no one sees the Spanish Inquisition coming. I got jebaited. Oh, you people love jebaiting me. All right, Creeping Chill from, is your name Triox or Twa? What super chat? I'm gonna give you the Sonic super chat. Creeping Chill. Nothing else quite says, oops, you're dead. This is one of those cards that, like, I do see coming, but I'm just hoping that it doesn't happen. And then do you know what I'm surprised? When they have 3 of them. When they flip over 3 in, like, 1 turn. That's what surprises me. Like, really? You're that lucky to have 3? I know there was only 4 in the deck. Well, you got, like, 75% of your deck left, and I'm at, like, 11 life, and you're at 29. Not fair. Cringe with the super chat. Mindbreak Trap. From the, yeah, the Ultimate Storm Hate card. Is it? Oh, I was thinking of the other trap card. It's a trap! Admiral Akbar would be a huge fan of this card. Blue, 2 generic. If an opponent casts 3 or more spells this turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay Mindbreak Trap's mana cost. Exile any number of target spells. It's not just for combo decks. I mean, okay, but it's mostly for combo decks, I'll admit. It's also for winning combo wars against some people. So you try to do something, like, you try to counterspell. They're gonna I guess they combo, you try to counterspell, they counterspell back, then you Mindbreak Trap, and you're like, sorry, they need to have, okay, they had to have played a Lotus Petal somewhere on there as well. Soros Path, I'd be surprised. Well, I don't know about that. Zeus! When they pay for Force of Will with mana. Oh my god, this is very relatable. This is very relatable. Blue, 3 generic. Now, you can pay a life and exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. I hate it when they have 1 card in hand. They have 5. They just drew it. They just drew it. They have 5 mana up. And I'm like, the only thing I lose to here is Force of Will. Anyway, I play my card. They tap out for Force of Will. And it hurts. It hurts every time. It's, I need a violin for that. RIP to my spell that got Force of Will, and it's a 1-for-1. You know, at least the downside of Force of Will is they have to spend a card in order to deal with your stuff. Yeah, hard cast. Doing it the hard way. Alright, we got more super chats. We got from Always a Bigger Fish. We have Chaos Transformation. Takes everyone by surprise. Chaos Transforme... Chaos... Oh, sorry, Chaotic. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Okay, red 5 generic sorcery. Exile up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target enchantment, and up to 1 target planeswalker, and or up to 1 target land. For each permanent exile this way, its controller reveals cards to the top of their library until they reveal a card that shares a card type with it, puts that card onto the battlefield, and shuffles. What is this? This is very similar to, that card. There's a card that, like, wipes everything from the battlefield, and you just put that many permanents onto the battlefield. Like, you wipe your field, everything, and then put cards onto the battlefield equal to all those other cards. Everyone's saying out of bounds. All right, what's without this out of bounds card? Out of bounds. Yeah, by the way, with chaotic transformation, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. You could get anything. You could get a boat. Out of bounds. Blue 3 generic instant with assist. Another player can pay up to 3 mana of this spell's cost. Oh, so someone can help you play it? Counter target spell? Oh, God. So you're like, hey, I've got out of bounds. Can you help pay 3 mana for this thing? Wild. Oh, was Warp World what I was thinking of? Each player... I don't want to... I think there's a 0 mana one that's like this. It's the same thing. It's a 0 mana Warp World. And it's the Glimpse of Tomorrow. That's what I was thinking of. Not really a Gotham card. It won't be... I don't think it's going to be very surprising what hits the battlefield. But the Chaotic Transformation will be surprising because it could be really anything. It's going to be really random. Alright, next up we got John with Berserk. In my combat metas, it's removal. Oh yeah, it is removal. That's right. It's a really it has that utility. For green, you can only play cast Berserk only before the combat damage step. Target creature gains trample and gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is its power. At the beginning of the next end step, destroy that creature if it attacked this turn. Oh, but you can only do it before combat step. At the beginning of the next end step. Oh no, but it'll die anyway. So... No, only if it attacked. How do you kill? Oh no, only combat. You have to do it before the combat damage step. Oh, so you can do it while they're attacking. Excellent, excellent. Excellent. No one expected the hard removal out of the green deck. Yeah, very, very, very deadly card. Toads with Nyx. I know what you're talking about. The blue card, right? Counter target single blue. Counter target spell if no mana was spent to play it. You tried to surprise us with your free spell. Well, I'm going to surprise you with my Nyx. You tried to play, what's it called? The Kasali Ambusher, did you? Oh, you didn't want to spend a mana, did you? Nyx it to death. Alright, more super chats. Rob... Well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Graham! Graham, thank you very much for the super chat. Farewell is one of my favorite cleanup cards. Is it that much of a surprise, though? White, 4 generic. I mean, this is a staple. Choose one or more. I guess the surprise is what you get to leave, what you leave behind. So you're like, farewell's on the stack. All right, I can choose any number of these, or I can choose one. Exile all artifacts, all creatures, all enchantments, or all graveyards. The choice is yours alone. Tetra Tim Bowman. 2009 full art textless cryptic command? Why? Because you can just make up whatever you want when you pick modes other than counterspell and draw a card. They're all very relevant, though. Okay, hold on. Let's go get... There we go. Textless. We're on our way to textless cryptic command. It's like a bit of a meme. There we go. Does anyone know all the modes on cryptic command? You know your cryptic command modes by heart. This hard... I don't know about anyone else. I find this card's very hard to play in Commander because it's triple blue. I don't have a lot of triple blue. You know, between all the mana rocks and the free mana, the soul rings. Triple blue sometimes is a bit of a premium, and I want to cast my creatures. And I don't really have the triple blue for this damn thing. And all the utility lands are colorless. It's a bit clunky, in my opinion. Draw a card, counter spell, tap all opponent's creatures, bounce permanent. Tap all, I think it's target opponent's creatures. Or is it all, I think it's tap target opponent's creatures. Right? Oh no, it's all tap all creatures your opponent's control. I don't even know. Look at that. I'm ashamed to competitive Magic. I guess again, I haven't played this enough in Commander. That's a good political card, though. Tap all creatures your opponents control. So basically, like, I'm gonna tap all your stuff. All right, they're free to be attacked. Go get them. Get them, boys and girls. Yeah, very, very cryptic. Extra cryptic when you're playing the textless version. They did something like that with Omnath, too. Josh Josh Karen, thank you very much for the super chat. Rakdos Charm. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, there's 3 modes on it. One of them is a Gotham one, though. I think it's the deal damage equal to all the creatures attacking. That's the one that gets people. Choose one. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard. That would get me. From the red-black deck at instant speed, that would get me as well. Destroy target artifact, but each creature deals 1 damage. Oh, so it's just like any creature. So each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. So if you know your opponent plays with a lot of creatures, Rakdos Charm, and they can take 20. Pretty good card. Really good card. Rob Boy, thanks so much for the super chat. Masako, the humorless has finessed me before. Okay, white, 2 generic, 2/1. The Finesser, human advisor. You may play Masako, the humorless, anytime you could play an instant. Oh yeah, that'll get you. Tap creatures you control may block as though they were that is a huge Gotham card. I will block with my tapped creatures. Conda servants dared not to neglect their duties for a moment under Masako's icy gaze, knowing what she saw Lord Conda would hear. This is a pretty insane card. Is this the only card that can do it? I guess so. I've never heard of this ability. You flash this thing in play and then start blocking with tapped creatures. Makes me wonder if I tested this on Magic the Gathering Online, would it work? Some of these weird cards, they don't work on Magic the Gathering Online because they don't have, you know, they're not programmed perfectly on that client. Okay, let's take some freebies. Slack loves this card. This is an amazing card. Witherfang, I was in my kitchen. I heard you say Rakdos Charm, and I listed the abilities to myself. You're very proud. Yeah, Witherfang has seen many a Rakdos Charm. Argentina with the Bosium Strip. The Yawgmoth's Will that sticks around. No way. 3 mana, artifact, pay 3, tap. Until end of turn, at any time the top card of your graveyard is an instant, interrupt, or sorcery card. Oh my god. Keep track of the top card of your library. You may play that card as though it were in your hand. If you do so, remove the card from the game. That is great. Yeah, that's basically Yawgmoth's Will, but for your graveyard. Good combo card. Is that really a surprise? I mean, I will be surprised if you play this, because I'd be like, I've never heard this card even exists. Republic Services with a mirror match. Blue 4 generic. Cast mirror match only during the declare blocker step. Oh god, wait, you're gonna copy their entire field? For each creature attacking you, or a planeswalker you control, put a token that's a copy of that creature onto the battlefield. Blocking that creature, exile the tokens at end of combat. That's a Supreme Gotham card. Pretty insane. Alright, next with the super chats, we got James. Thanks so much, James. Resolute Strike. Someone is hitting you with this Colossus Hammer. We just don't know. For a while, did I get got by this card in Modern? Someone played some card like this. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If it's a warrior, yeah, it was like some warrior hammer deck. You may attach an equipment you control to it. I thought it was complete jank, and I did lose to it. I don't feel like I should have lost to it. But hey, you know what? It's that surprise value, people. You get caught by surprise. You sometimes win. You win those games. You got to take those. Yeah, you may attach an equipment you control to it. So like, even if you dealt with a creature that was once equipped by a Colossus Hammer, you can Resolute Strike, buffing another creature, and immediately equip the hammer back onto the creature, hitting them for a ton of damage. King Ginger with Notion Thief plus Windfall on the stack. To be honest, when you play Notion Thief, I don't think it's unusual they'll be playing with like Windfall or Time Twister in their deck. So you're playing with proxies. Black Blue 2 generic 3/1 flash. If an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, instead the player skips the draw and you draw a card. So it's like the slightly more powerful Fairy Mastermind. Actually, significantly more powerful. Redco playing with banned cards. Upheaval. When this goes, it's worse than Farewell. What's the most surprising thing is that it'll be like, that card's banned in Commander. Blue 4 generic, return all permanents to their owner's hand. I'm not lying. It's banned in Oathbreaker too. Legal everywhere else though. Is this a 93? Sorry, not pre-modern staple? I imagine this could be a pre-modern card. It might be banned too, for all I know, but I doubt it. Seems completely under control in that format. Spectral Maniac with Tainted Strike. Oh, the Infector? Yeah, black, instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains Infect until end of turn. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll take 10 damage. Tainted Strike. Oh, crap. Didn't expect that one. Oh, guess I die. Insert that old man that's like, guess I die. What's with Deathmark? Okay, a Blackbird says Deathmark. What, just the sideboard? This is like a sideboard card. Although if you have it in your main deck, that would be surprising. Black, sorcery, destroy target green or white creature. Very good, like, hate card. But, I mean, pretty useless if your opponent doesn't have any green or white creatures. I would be surprised if you played this card against me. Rough. I always forget Plaza of Heroes has a third ability. Yeah, that's true. There are some cards that get you because you forget, like, there are two, like, really common abilities on the card, but then there's, like, a third one that almost never comes up, but then when it comes up, like, you obviously lose because you weren't playing around it at all. Tap, add a colorless. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. However, you can only spend it on legendary spells. Tap, add 1 mana of any color among legendary permanents you control. Pay 3, tap, exile Plaza of Heroes. Target legendary creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. How do you forget that? It's like an onboard trick, for crying out loud. Wait, you literally think this is only for adding mana? Or is it like, add 1 mana of any color among legendary permanents you control? You have to know that one. That's called reading the card. That's an onboard trick. What we got? Coffee and Buns. Spectacular showdown in combat metas. Spectacular it is. We got a red 1 generic sorcery. Put a double strike counter on target creature. Then goad each creature that had a double strike counter. Put on it this way. Hold on, so you can use this, like, on the attack and also on defense in some way. Until your next turn, those creatures attack each combat if able and attack a player other than you. So, how do you get this on your turn? So you put, okay, hold on. Oh, so you goad them. So you, like, put a double strike counter on someone else's creatures. They have to attack something else. Overload! You may cast a spell for its overload cost. Basically, every other creature. Put a double strike counter on target creature. No, but it's every creature. So you have to attack with your own creature as well? Goad? How does goading work when it's your own creature? I have no idea. Till your next turn, those creatures attack each combat if able. So you just have to attack. Everyone attack. Everyone's going in the red zone. Basically, we got blocking isn't allowed anymore. Yeah, you attack other people. Everyone go after each other. Yeah, savage beating. Oh, I see. You can do this after combat, though, is what you can do. So you spectacular. No, it doesn't matter, actually. No one can attack you. Oh, yeah, that's pretty insane. Yeah. No, you can do it on the main phase, because no one's allowed to attack you. Even you're not even allowed to attack you. Not even allowed to attack yourself. Okay, let's go get a freebie. Angel's Grace. Well, it depends on you know what? It depends on the deck. If it's a combo deck, I understand. If it's not a combo deck, that's a bit weird. It's like the ultimate fog. White, instant, split second. You can't lose the game this turn. Your opponents can't win the game this turn. Till end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total less than 1 reduces to 1 instead. And do you know what gets them after that? When you just drain their life for like 1 life. Oh, you went down to 1? Well, collective brutality yourself to death. That's right. What's Hailstorm? Hailstorm! You've never heard of this card. Green, 1 generic. It's an instant. Deals 2 damage to each attacking creature and 1 damage to you and each creature you control. The surprising thing is anyone would play this card. So it does hurt. It hurts you. It deals a damage to you and all your creatures, so you ping everything. But so you pyroclasm them, but you are what's it called? Can't think of a card that deals 1 damage to everything. So basically, you ping everything of your own. What a weird card. I mean, as long as you don't have 1 toughness creatures, I mean, it's basically free to play. We go to Redco. Guan Yu's 1000 Li March. Alright, Guan. Yeah, it's got the word. Why is the font for 1000 so small? I guess maybe they're running out of room. White, 4 generic. Destroy all tap creatures. So you attack with everything, and everyone else's cards are untapped. Your opponent plays Guan Yu's 1000 Li March, and the opponent is like, my creatures, my beautiful, beautiful creatures, go straight to the bin, and they gone. What does GWJ have to say? Exsanguinate. Yeah, danger. Okay, black, X, sorcery. Each opponent loses X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. Sort of a boring card. I wouldn't say that is very surprising. I mean, the most surprising thing is I don't even know this card exists. Okay, what does Wolfie have? Vexing? Puzzle box. Is it related to Teferi's puzzle box? It always seems like a bad mana rock, then they get Blightsteel Colossus, and I'm like, what? Okay, how does this card work? 3 mana artifact. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, put a number of charge counters on Vexing Puzzle Box equal to the result. So you roll 3, put 3 on it, you put 15, you roll 15, you put 15 on here. Tap, add 1 mana of any color, roll a d20. Tap, remove 100 charge counters from Vexing Puzzle Box, search your library for an artifact card, put that card onto the battlefield. So you don't know what you're gonna, well, it'll be surprising the first time. I'd be surprised if they get the Blightsteel Colossus. You know, it's pretty well established. Blightsteel isn't like the best artifact. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The problem is you're like this huge target afterwards. Yeah, Kin Ginger trying to get Aven Mind Sensor on here. I'll admit I'm not thrilled. Oops. I'm not thrilled with the Aven Mind Sensor. When I'm fetching. Pay a white, 2 generic, 2/1 flash flying. If an opponent would search their library, they search the top 4 cards of that library instead. So you just stab it out, you're just praying, oh, I hope I can find what I'm looking for through here. I mean, that is a good response to your Vexing Puzzle Box. You spent all your time. I guess on average, you probably rolled the dice about 10 times to get 100 counters on here from a d20. And I just have in mind sense. You gotta pick a stupid artifact from the top 4 cards of your library. Good luck finding your one of Blightsteel, buddy. Good luck. Alright, we got Trevor Peebles with a super chat. Combo with Mana Severance. Play at your own risk. Mana Severance. How does this work? A blue 1 generic sorcery. Search your library for any number of land cards removed from the game. So shuffle your library afterwards. Is this one of those, like, Thassa's Oracle, Mana Severance, and then, like, just a bunch of islands in your deck cards? Is that how this works? I guess what it is like, yeah, you could have a commander deck with Mana Severance. Oh, no, but you can only have 1 card in your deck. Could you make a deck around Mana Severance? I guess you could have, like, a bunch of tutors. You can have a bunch of blue tutors, a little bit of card draw, and yeah, just hope to, like, you just keep mulliganing for one of these damn cards, the tutor or the Mana Severance, and hope people don't have counter spells, and then just try to Thassa's Oracle for victory. I guess that's possible. Most surprising thing is, like, oh my god, you're playing a, your deck has like a 9. So what, it has to be 99 cards? Your deck has 90 lands in it. It'd be broken an Oathbreaker. Well, we can break it, because it is completely legal there. Oops. Faster than you with Trick Bind. Oh yeah, split second. Counter target activated or triggered ability. If it's a permanent's ability is countered this way, activated abilities of that permanent can't be played this turn. You get the one, you get only one. Activate only once, and then that's it. No infinite activations for you. All right, we got Station Disaster back again with another super chat. Cycling a Gem Palm was it Striderin? Stridrin? Oh, Strider. Okay, Gem Palm Strider, green 1 generic for a 2/2. 4 mana cycling. When you cycle Gem Palm Strider, elf creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn. That is so you get to basically buff everything up and you draw a card. They're not seeing that coming. They could probably predict a lot of things, but it's not going to be Gem Palm Strider. Avatar of Woe says, nobody expects the Alchemist's Refuge. Alchemist's Refuge. Tap, add a mana, pay a blue-green. Tap, you may cast non-land cards this turn as though they had flash. Well, they can expect that you can activate it at any moment. Does it work with double-sided lands? Oh, you mean Trick Bind? We're talking Mana Severance. The face-up side has to be a land, so no. Because I think the most of those spells, they're spells. Like, if you're talking about Mana Severance. If I understand correctly, like it's gonna take the top of it in the top side is gonna be take precedent. Okay, let's take one more. Toilet Duck, Oracle of the Alpha. Oh, that's not interesting. You know what you're gonna get. Drops Gaming. Member of the channel, Spike Cannibal. The counters player never expects it. All right, black 1 generic 0/0. Spike Cannibal comes into play with a 1/1/1 counter on it. But when Spike Cannibal comes into play, move all +1/+1 counters from all creatures onto the Spike Cannibal. They most certainly will not see it coming. Excellent counter to the Proliferate decks. Oh no, it's only the +1/+1 counters. Imagine it can take all counters. It takes the Saga counters. It takes the Charge counters. Everything moves to the Spike Cannibal. And why not? Blue Bomber with one last super chat. Illusionist Gambit. We're going to Gambit with an illusion. No one expects this in Commander. Blue 2 generic. Cast Illusionist's Gambit only during the declare blocker step on an opponent's turn. Remove all attacking creatures from combat and untap them after this phase. There is an additional combat phase. Each of those creatures attack that combat if able. They can't attack you or a planeswalker you control that combat. So you're just like, okay, I like that attack. Now let's do it again. Let's do it one more time. All right, my coffee friends, that's it for today. If you want to be part of the show, be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you very much for being a supporter of the channel, either being a member on YouTube, patron on Patreon, or super chatting to be part of the show. Because as long as you guys are supporting the show, I'm going to keep supporting you by being here every morning. But most importantly, we got to thank everyone who shows up in the morning to be part of the show. People like Omeek, Erlin, Jess, Always a Bigger Fish, Abzo, Rob, we got Rob Boy, Toads, Ryan, Grey Armor, Steve, Cooper, King Ginger, Argentina, LN Chan Gaming. Because without all of you, I'd have no show. So, as usual, my coffee crew, you keep bringing up them coffees, and we'll keep bringing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at